Welcome back. In this video, I'll show you how you can use headlines to rank on page 1 of search engines and also write them in such a way that they convert into leads. They generate business for you. See, headlines are the most important part of your article writing. It is the first thing that can grab attention of your website visitors, of your prospects, of your future customers. Your headlines, in effect, are your first real point of connection with your prospects, so you must get them right. Now look at this screen. I can simply mention, hey, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use headlines to get on page 1 of Google. Or I can say something like 7 ways to turn headlines into non-stop lead generation, right? So instead of just saying, let's talk about headlines, if I say 7 ways to turn headlines into non-stop lead generation, that sounds more exciting. That creates curiosity because you're thinking now, hey, what are those 7 ways that can help me get more business? I want to find that out now, right? So headlines are that important. Now, according to Moz, let me show you what Moz says. Explosion in content competing for readers' attention. So a day in the internet shows that 2 million blog posts, 294 billion emails, 864,000 hours of video are created daily. Okay, you need to understand what you're dealing with here. Now, of course, not every single one of them is your competitor, but then you get the idea. 80% of readers never make it past the headline. According to some sources, on average, 8 out of 10 people will read headline copy, but only 2 out of 10 will read the rest. Okay? But with the right kind of headline, it can change. Traffic can be varied by as much as 500% based on the headline. According to Coachley, tests show that traffic to content at Upworthy can vary by as much as 500% simply because of the headline. Okay? So that's important. Now, David Ogilvy, who is considered as the father of advertising, says or said, on the average, 5 times as many people read the headline as read the body copy. When you have written your headline, you have spent 80 cents out of your dollar. In other words, like we just read, most people will only read your headlines. Now, if they like the headline enough, they may scroll further down the page and then they may read subheadings, and we'll get into that as well. But if you have the headline which makes people read your articles, your blog posts, then you are a winner, because not only are you using your headline to get on page 1 of Google, you're also using them to generate business, to generate leads. Your headline is intended to hook, entertain, shock, and above all, create curiosity. Because if it will not create curiosity, then people will not read the rest of the page, the rest of the article, the rest of the blog post that you have. See, getting on page 1 of Google is one thing. Okay? Generating leads from your website is completely different. You have to understand, not only are you trying to get on page 1 of Google, you're also trying your website to convert. You also should be able to convert the traffic that is coming to your website because you're on page 1 turns into business. So remember, write headlines that create curiosity. Now, first thing first, of course, here, our main focus is SEO. So write headlines that have your target search phrase, your target key phrases. You already should have a list of your main search phrases by now because you've been through those modules on how to create or find your target audience, how to find your target key phrase, and so forth. So now that you have those keywords, make sure you add them in your headline because 1, that'll help you with SEO. 2, it'll also help you convert visitors into business. Now, here's a winning strategy. Make a clear promise in your headline. Okay, so let me show you what I did when I started this video. If I go back right here, it says 7 ways to turn headlines into non-stop lead generation. So I'm making a clear promise that I'll show you at least 7 ways that will help you turn headlines into leads, into business, into revenue, profits, and so forth. So make sure you do make a clear promise when you write a headline, or at least, if not in every single one of them, as much as you can. You should also make sure that before you select a headline, you write multiple headlines. Okay. Now, there are many different ways to write headlines, and I'll get into some of them, but I'll show you one hack that I use to write headlines. Okay. And this is something I learned from none other than Dan Kennedy himself. If you don't know who Dan Kennedy is, I strongly suggest you go to Amazon and buy a couple of his books that you like. He's several different books on different topics, from time management to marketing to a whole lot more. I won't get into details, but go to Amazon, look up Dan Kennedy, and whichever title you like the most, get that book. Because every single book of his has a lot of information that can help you succeed as a business owner or help you grow your business. So let me show you something here. Now, Dan Kennedy says, people who write headlines for these famous national magazines get paid a lot of money. Some of them get paid in 6 figures, right? So these headlines that you see here on these magazines, whether it's Men's Health, Cosmopolitan, or any of those, these are already being tried and tested several times before because they're very similar every time if you look at them carefully. Now, if you look at these headlines, you can always use any of these headlines, or many of them at least, and change them to your own business strategy. For example, let's say we choose this one here. And now if you see this here, 21 ways to turn sunshine into lean muscle. This is exactly what I had in the beginning of this video. 7 ways to turn headlines into non-stop lead generation, right? 21 ways to turn sunshine into lean muscle. 7 ways to turn headlines into non-stop lead generation. So you can always do that. What else? Let's see any of these we click here really. This one here. So it says get back in shape 21-day plan. You can change it to something like get your rugs back in shape, 4-step process, increase the life of your rugs, make them look new, smell them like new, or something like that. Okay, but you get the idea. So, 4 surprising metabolism boosters, 4 surprising ways to prevent mold, or 4 surprising ways to increase the life of your carpets. See, these headlines must work. That's why they're on the front page of these magazines. And like I said, you can do the same. You can go to Cosmo and then get some ideas from here as well. Okay? I usually go to just Men's Health. Oh, not Men's Health. And I get my ideas from here. Muscle made easy, carpet cleaning made easy. So you get the idea. Now, you must have noticed that most of those headlines had a number in them because when you add a number in your headline, it gets the most views. Statistically, a headline with a number gets the most views, right? So for example, you can do 7 tips of extending the life of Oriental rugs. Oriental rugs are expensive. People would like to know how to increase the life of their rugs. And of course, when you write a blog post or when you write a page or when you write a piece of content, services. We also provide rug repair services. Give us a call for a free estimate or give us a call if you have any questions, right? That's the idea. 10 ways to prevent frozen pipes in Arctic Plus. This would be a great post for businesses that offer water damage restoration services and they are located in Midwest or East Coast or areas where it snows in the winters, the temperature gets in negatives and the pipes burst. So this would be a great idea for them. Top 5 roof repair tips for Atlanta homeowners. Now, not only am I making a promise of showing 5 roof repair tips, I also added word Atlanta in it because now I'm based in Atlanta. So let's say if there's a company based in Atlanta can use this because now Google will also read Atlanta in the headline. Okay, so you can do the same. You're optimizing the page, in this case, for the key phrase roof repair and your city name. It doesn't have to be Atlanta, obviously, it can be your city. 9 best ways to prevent mold growth in Chicago, right? So again, this is just to give you ideas that you can use numbers. You can also use the name of your city in the headline or a neighboring city. It doesn't have to be the same city every time. If you provide services in 7 different cities, then use each one in a different headline. But this will help you optimize your article, your headline for the search phrase and the city itself. Now, if you remember when we went through key phrases before, Google shows related searches and a lot of them start with how-tos. So you can always have a headline with how-to. How to increase the life of your carpet, how to increase the life of your rugs, how to prevent mold, how to remove mold, and so forth. How to unclog your drains if you provide plumbing services, how to whiten your teeth if you are a dentist. So any of those sections that you remember in Google that says people also ask can be used for headlines as well. Let me show you real quick again. So if I do mold removal, and right here, people also ask, how can you clean up mold yourself? It says what kills black mold, so what kills black mold or how to kill black mold, and so on. Now, you must make sure that you provide unique information in your blog posts, in your articles, on the landing pages of your website. Don't try to copy what others are doing. If you find a website which is on page 1 of Google, doesn't mean you just go copy them or rewrite them the way they have written it. No. Try and find something different that others are not thinking or not doing. Remember, if your competition has his website built 3 years ago, maybe they have not changed the content on it since then. So the content they have on their website is 3 years old or 5 years old or however old that is. But you can always update the content on your website by finding something that's related to news, finding something maybe that's happening right now in your area. For example, if you provide sanitization services, you can always have a post that says, attention dentists, discover 5 ways to kill 99.99% of all viruses and germs in your clinic today. Right? This will get their attention. Now, if you really show dentists 5 ways to kill or get rid of viruses and germs from their clinic, that post potentially can go viral on social media. Or you can put this on your Facebook page and boost the post, maybe just put like 10, 15 bucks in it and boost it in your local area and see if you get any leads that way or if you get any dentists calling you that way. And this is not just for dentists. If you're just marketing to business owners, commercial properties, restaurants, bars in your area, then you can simply say, discover 5 ways to kill 99% of all viruses and germs in your office today, in your restaurant today, okay? In your bar today. Because when your target audience find this headline, they would want to read further, right? And see what your competitors are doing. Not so you can duplicate them, not so you can rewrite their articles, but you see what all they are missing so you can do better than what they are doing. See, with all this information that you have now from all the previous videos, you can get ahead of them really fast, easily, if you follow the strategies from this program, from this course, right? So see your competition, keep an eye on them, see what they're doing, but don't copy them. Even if they are on page 1 of Google, even if they have higher rankings, don't copy them. Get better than them, okay? Now, for some businesses, maybe they can mention a brand in their title, in their headline. Maybe there's a carpet cleaning machine out there that is very powerful. You can mention that name in your headline because that will create curiosity as well. It's like, what is he talking about? What machine is this? And maybe that brand also advertises. So now you're linking your article with a brand that has a name out there. Right? So that'll also create curiosity and people would like to get the details after reading the headline and see if you can leverage current news topics, current trends. For example, let's say once again, if you provide sanitization services, right? Disinfectant application service, then you can say something like 7 ways to sanitize your clinic so your patients feel safe, right? And then, of course, try and get attention of dentists or doctors. You can do the same thing for gym owners or restaurant owners. 7 ways to sanitize your restaurant so your customers feel safe. Now, when a restaurant owner is looking for sanitization services and he searches for disinfectant or sanitization service for restaurants, then your headline followed by the copy on that page will help you rank high because most likely your competitors are not doing this exact strategy, right? So when Google will see that this particular article shows exactly what this person is searching for, how to sanitize a restaurant, and you absolutely have the same thing in your headline followed by the article, then your landing page will definitely rank higher than others in your area, or at least help your website rank high. Now, when you write a headline where you make a promise, you better deliver, okay? No clickbait at all. As a business owner, even you understand, or you should in fact understand more than anybody else, that clickbait is really really a way to lose a customer for life, a potential customer for life, let's say. There's a lot of carpet cleaning companies out there, for example, that would advertise something really cheap on, let's say, Craigslist, and then go to the household and then start upselling them into many different services. You don't want to do that. So if you promise in your headline 5 best ways or 3 fastest ways or the cheapest way or any such thing, make sure you deliver. Okay? If you said 3 fastest ways to kill mold, then you should show them or write 3 fastest ways to kill mold. Otherwise, you lose visits. Your visitors will not come back. And you want your prospects, you want anybody who's come to your website should bookmark it and come back to it again and again. This is also one of the ranking factors that Google uses. If Google notices that the traffic is going back to a certain website, if Google sees or notices that people are spending long time on a website, which means they are reading and consuming the content, if they're scrolling down the page, that will also help your website rank high. Okay? So that is one of the ranking factors. How many people are going back to a certain website and how much time are they spending on the website? So no clickbait, please. And last but not least, never forget call to action. I mentioned this in pretty much every single video that I make, in every single recording, in every single lesson, that don't forget call to action, because all that hard work you put in getting the correct headline, in writing the content, in getting the site to page 1 of Google, if you don't add call to action at the end, your conversions will be low, okay? Which defeats the entire purpose, the hard work of getting your website on page 1. So make sure with every page on your website, end it with a call to action. It could be to give you a call, contact you, email you, maybe go read another article on your website, and so forth. But please make sure you do have call to action at the end of every article, of every blog post, and so forth. And I'll see you in the next video.